Yeah, what happens almost by consequence of us engaging with God in intimacy, and what practically do we need to do to facilitate us being transformed and changed? And I would say over the years, I've gone from a more systematic approach to a more relational approach. And by spending time in the presence of the Father, in the light of his love, we become like that which we behold. And the more we behold him, the more we become transformed into the image of who he says we are, who he created us to be. So does that deal with our DNA and our family bloodline type things? Possibly, it may well do, but I would always be open for cooperating with anything the Father showed me. So if the Father showed me that taking communion would be continually changing my DNA, then of course, then I would continue to do that. But in a sense, it's all about coming into a state of being rather than thinking about all the doing. And I only do what the Father shows me to do, rather than I'm going to go ahead and try to renew my mind, or I'm going to try and cleanse my DNA, or I'm going to deal with my family bloodline. I deal with that as the Father reveals it. I present myself to him in relationship as a living sacrifice, if you want to put it that way, and he prepares me in whatever way he sees fit. And if he asks me to cooperate with him in any practical way, then of course I will. So as we spend more time in engaging his love, in coming into the reality that we're loved unconditionally, that we have limitless grace at our disposal, that his mercy triumphs over everything, then we will enter into a deeper relationship. Does that mean that therefore we will do more things in the realms of heaven cognitively? Perhaps, but maybe not. And I think the more we realize that we are dwelling in him and he is dwelling in us, then we can be consciously aware of that without consciously engaging it. I'm not saying we don't engage it. I mean, I engage every day, but I'm also aware that I'm constantly in the presence of the Father, face to face, in the light of his love, continually, without having to visit and then come back again. I dwell there, I abide there, I remain there. And in that reality, I'm always doing things in the spiritual realm, even if I'm not always cognitively aware of what I am doing. So do the experiences get better? Yes, I think they do get better and deeper in a sense of intimacy. Whether that means that means you're going to have a cognitive memory of all the experiences of the things you're doing in heaven, not necessarily. And I would focus on being rather than doing, and all the rest of the things you share in your story, which is excellent and great. And I would encourage you just to stay in that place of love, of intimacy, of rest, and don't be too concerned. If the Father wants you to do anything, he can show you, and he can unveil that in a conscious way if he chooses to do it that way. But that doesn't mean that you're not doing things from a governmental perspective or a legislative perspective in the realms of heaven, in the spiritual dynamic. You may probably are doing those things, but you may not need to be aware of them. I'm not aware of a lot of things that I'm doing. I've learned to become multidimensional. I'm living in multiple places in the realms of heaven at the same time, simultaneously outworking a lot of different things, but I'm not aware cognitively of most of that until I need to be. And when I need to be, then I'm engaged it. But I do that as led by the Spirit from a place of rest, rather than, well, what should I be doing? How should I be doing it? Should I be doing more? None of that mindset is now there, because my state of conscious awareness is in rest, knowing that I'm loved unconditionally, living in that state of intimacy and relationship. And therefore I enjoy life here so much more, because I'm not concerned about all the things that I should or shouldn't be doing. I'm just focusing on enjoying, rejoicing, living in love, joy, and peace in a constant sense, even in the midst of the storms that go on around our lives. And there are things happening around us all the time, things happening in our families, in our lives all the time. But actually, none of those things will, even if they appear like storms from the outside, from the inside, I can still stay in a place of rest and enjoy. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.